Hello and welcome to this tutorial video on CDP Access. Today we're going to take a look at numbered lists. We've made some changes to list numbering and how it auto-diffs recently, and we've done so because of your feedback. So we appreciate everyone who has emailed us or sent us any questions about how this works. We hope that the changes are going to make your proposals submit very simply and make it easier for you to get exactly what you want with your proposals. So as you can see, I've got a code section loaded into my sample proposal here that's got not only numbers, but indexed numbering. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this, and we will take a look at the changes. So as you can see, when I'm looking in my editor here, all of my numbers, when I mouse over them here, they highlight a little bit separately, and they're sort of set apart from the rest of the text. Now, the rest of your text is going to be just as you want. Instead of work, let's say this is supposed to be fun. I go ahead and make that change, and I can see that change here. But the numbers are going to be handled just a little bit differently than what you're used to in something like Microsoft Word. If I'm going to make a change, and if I'm going to add something new to this list, it's going to be just like I'm expecting. When I hit enter and add a new number, the system's going to do its best to guess what the correct number that needs to go in there is. Now you'll notice when I added a new 2.2 here, the 2.2 below it didn't change, and that is by design. What we're going to do is we are going to have the system guess when you add something new what the most likely number is. But by and large, we are going to let you diff each one of these numbers separately and manually control how these numbers work. So now that I've added a new 2.2, I'm going to have to add a 2.3 here at the bottom, or modify that one to 2.3 at the bottom. And that change is going to go through and diff the best it can. So each one of these individual numbers is going to diff separately, and you'll have to do what you can to make them as accurate as possible. If you've got a situation where they're not diffing correctly, like for instance, if I wanted this not to be a new 2.3 here, but to change the 2.2 to a 2.3, and it's not quite doing what I expect, you can always go back. I'll go ahead and save these changes. You can go back to your documentation tab, and you can leave a note in Notes to Staff to say, you know, the numbering is correct as I see it in my editor, but the diffing isn't doing the right thing, and I want 2.2 to change to 2.3, and that other 2.2 to be a new one. We just couldn't program every possible permutation of what you might want into the system. So the system's going to do the best it can, and please leave a note in Notes to Staff if you do have any changes that don't look quite right to you. No need to contact us separately. Feel free to submit it, even if it's not perfect, and we'll help you out. So I am going to go back into this new number, and I'm just going to make a few edits here so you can see how things will be handled in general. So let's say that I want this 2.2 to actually be 2.2.1. I can make that change here, and it's going to do the strike through and underline as you would expect. All I have to do is click next to it here and start typing, and it's going to modify that just as you would expect. So as I do a 3 here, I hit enter. That'll give me a number 4. If I want to make that 4 actually a 4.1, that increase indent here is going to do the job for me. I just click on that. It's going to push it in, but I am going to have to change that number to 3.1. So if you have any questions or concerns about what's going on with your numbering, if something's not working out correctly, you think it's not indenting correctly, chances are the system has done its best, and we'll be able to modify that for you and make small editorial tweaks on your request once you submit that. But by and large, you will need to modify and diff these numbers individually. And if you have a long list that you want all the numbers, subsequent to be renumbered, there is a checkbox down here at the bottom. So if I add a new number 2 to a 40-point list, you can, rather than renumbering the old number 2 all the way through number 40, you can check this box at the bottom where it says renumber lists, and we will take a look at that once you've submitted it and make that editorial change to renumber all those items as subsequent, renumber all subsequent as expected for you. So again, just from the top, When you edit a list, each one of these numbers will have to be modified individually. The system will do its best to guess the correct number if you add a new one, but you will still need to make the changes to renumber the subsequent ones. And if you've got a long list and you just don't want to renumber all as subsequent, go ahead and check this renumbered list box, and the staff will be happy to take a look at that and make the editorial changes as needed. If you have any questions, or you know that your content looks right in your editor window, but the preview just looks a little bit off from what you'd expect, always feel free to go into the documentation tab, go to notes to staff, and then you'll be able to edit that. As a staff member, I can't edit that notes to staff, but your edit button will be right here in the upper right, and you'll be able to create as many notes as you'd like there, and we'll review them before we finalize the proposal and get in touch with you to make sure that we've done as you expected. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to email cdpaccess@iccsafe.org. I'll be happy to answer those questions for you and do what we can to get everything perfect. But if it's just a matter of editorial changes, feel free to submit the proposal with the notes to staff, and we'll make sure to get in touch with you so that your proposal is ready to go after the deadline. Thanks, everybody, for viewing this proposal tutorial, and have a great day.